Hey, YouTube, it is your girl, Miss Brandy 1525, and I'm coming at y'all today with a story time. Yes, that is right, my first story time. And I'm going to tell y'all about the time that they told me that my baby was dead. Okay. uh, I couldn't think of a better title for it because that's exactly what they told me. They told me my baby was dead. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I'm just going to be getting myself together a little bit, doing a little something, something to my face, nothing major because I ain't really going nowhere. Uh-oh, hold on, Rihanna, hold on, wait. Okay, I don't know what that was about. Yeah. uh, but yeah, so I'm going to get with this story time. Okay, so, uh, let me give y'all a little backstory. I had my first baby when I was 25, turning 26 years old. Okay, and I'm just going in right now with my face powder. This is the MAC Care Blend or Studio Care Blend Select Press Powder in dark. Okay, so I'm just using that for a little lid color because I'm not doing nothing special today, as I said. So, I had not been feeling well for seemed like forever, y'all. And I was sick and I thought I had the flu. Well, the thought never occurred to me that I was pregnant because I had irregular menstruals all the time. Like, my menstrual was never ever regular. It never came on time. It was never regular. I skipped 2 or 3 months and then it would come back and it was just not regular. Okay, so like I said, the thought never occurred to me that I could be pregnant. So I was sick and I told my husband, my then husband, we had been married 2 years. I married him when I was 23 years old. He is not my current husband, but we still friends. But anyway, I told him, I was like, I really feel bad. So at this time, our car was broke down. So my father-in-law came and picked us up because my husband had to go to work. So he came in and I know we got in the car with him and he was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, I just don't feel good. I'm sick. And he was like, "Now, your ass been sick for months." He was like, "You need to just go ahead on and go to the doctor." And for some reason that irritated me. Well, now I know the reason, but that really irritated me that he said that to me. I was pissed. Like, you don't tell me where to go. I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? But I was like superdy duperdy mad. I was pissed that he even, would tell me what I need to do. You just my father-in-law, stay in your place. Okay, so I was mad and I was like, you know what? Just drop me off at the doctor. Just drop me off at the clinic. Okay, so got to the clinic and I'm in the room and they like, you say you've been tired and you've been sick and you ain't been feeling well and your stomach is upset all the time because, y'all, I didn't have morning sickness. I had all day, every day sickness. So I just knew I had the flu. Basically, I had made up in my mind that I had the flu. So I told them, I just think I got the flu. I'm just really just down. So they was like, okay, well, can you give us a urine sample? And the lady never mentioned, she wanted the urine sample for a pregnancy test, being that I'm only, 25. Well, I shouldn't say only 25 because nowadays people got 3 and 4 kids by 25. But anyhow, to make a long story short, I took the urine test and it took them forever to come back and get me. So I was like, dog, I must really be sick. Maybe I got pneumonia. So, like, the clinic was closing, okay? And they was shutting off the lights and they was like, everybody was getting ready to go. So I was like, dog, what do I got? What is wrong with me? I'm thinking this to myself. So the lady comes back in and she tells me, y'all forgive me for looking over, just getting my pencils because I'm not really going to do no eyeshadow today. So the lady comes back in and she tells me, she says, well, Mrs. Lowry, that was my last name at that time. She says, Mrs. Lowry, she said, you are, I understand that you're not feeling well. and whatnot, and we had figured out why, and she was like, "You're pregnant," and I was like, "Oh, me? What?" I was like, "No, not me." So at that time, I had just kind of basically lost it. I was like, "Is you sure it was my pee? Did you mix it up?" You know what I'm saying? I don't even have regular periods, so I know I ain't pregnant. So, to make a long story short, I was pregnant. I went back to the doctor at the next appointment. Well, come to find out, I was 12 weeks pregnant, y'all. Never even knew it, okay? 12 weeks pregnant. Never even knew it. And yeah, that was nuts, okay? So, I tell my family, I tell my mom, them everything was good and we was happy, and I was buying stuff from day one. Mind you, I'm a 25 and I don't have no kids, so I'm super excited. I thought my junk didn't work, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, my junk is just, it don't work, you know. So I'm happy to know that my junk works. So like, I'm at the store every day buying baby this and baby that and woo woo woo. So I get fast forward 5 months, okay, and I am sitting at home and I'm doing fine, not having no problems whatsoever. Y'all, I'm using this new eyeliner for the first time and I don't like it already. So anyway, yeah, so I notice when I go to the bathroom that I'm spotting a little bit. So I'm like, okay, this ain't right. I ain't had a period in 5 months, so I'm spotting, and no, maybe 7 months. So I tell my husband, I'm like, I think I need to go to the doctor because I'm spotting, and I haven't had a period in so long, and you don't have a period, when you're pregnant. So he's like, okay, well, I'll take you to the doctor. So we get up and we go to the emergency room. Well, when we get to the emergency room, they can't find my son's heartbeat. Oh my God, I hope I'm in the frame. They can't find my son's heartbeat. And so they didn't do an ultrasound or anything. And they tell me, well, ma'am, we can't find the heartbeat. And being that you are, spotting like you are, you probably having a miscarriage and the baby just hasn't passed yet. So I'm like, now they done broke my heart. My heart is in my feet, okay? And I'm like, what do you mean a miscarriage? I just couldn't accept it. I couldn't believe it. So I'm like, this can't be real. This can't be me. So my husband calls his parents. He calls my mom. My mom lived out of town at the time. Well, yeah, at that time, because she lives here now. But my mom lived out of town at the time. So she's like, well, I'm really sorry, and woo woo, and I'll be there in the morning. So I'm like, okay. So my husband's parents make it to the hospital. And I'm distraught. Well, really, we both was distraught, We just like, wow. First time out, first baby, and we done lost it, and I'm just like, I can't believe it. So I get home and they tell me just lay down and just relax and take it easy, and your body will eventually pass the baby on through whatever. And so I'm like, I'm just still distraught, really don't want to hear it, really not willing to accept it. And I lay down. Well, once I lay down, I can feel my baby moving, okay? And I'm telling my husband, his parents came home with us. I'm telling my husband, I'm like, I know my baby is still alive. I can feel him moving. And my husband, unlike me, is very docile. Not, I don't know what to say. Not, very outgoing like I am, or easy. He easy going, laid back. That's what he was. And so I'm like, I can feel the baby moving, and I know that he's still alive. And he like, okay, honey, well, just lay down and woo woo woo. And I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. I can really feel the baby moving, and I know that he's alive. And so, he don't believe me. He think, I'm talking out of grief. Well, uh, I go in there and I get up and I go and I tell his father, I say, my baby is not dead. I can still feel him moving in my belly. And so at this point, everybody think I'm crazy now. Now I'm not crazy, but just talking out of grief. So now they like, honey, you may feel that you think the baby is moving, but the doctor said that the baby is gone, and you're just feeling that because you don't want him to be gone, honey. You're just in denial. And I'm like, I'm not in denial. At that time, y'all, I was a little, more aggressive than I am now. So I'm like, I ain't in no motherfucking denial. I can feel my fucking baby moving. What you mean? Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. If you say it again, you getting out, right? So I tell my husband, if your daddy say one more time my baby's dead, put his ass out of here. Get him out of here. So I feel so shame for acting like that. You know what I'm saying? Now when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, Brand, you really went ham. But I get his ass out of here. If he say it again, he getting the fuck out of here, because they was at our house. So I called my mom and I said, Mama, my baby is not dead. I can feel my baby moving. Meanwhile, before I left the hospital, they had scheduled me for a DNC. So they was going to give me an abortion in the morning. They had made me an appointment. My appointment was at 9 o'clock. I was supposed to be there. They was going to, get the baby tissue on out and, do all of that. So my mom says, well, Brandy, if you think you still feel the baby moving, are you sure? I said, Mama, I ain't never been so sure of anything in my life. And she said, well, don't do nothing till I get there. And I'm like, okay. So he says, well, honey, let's get your clothes out so you can get ready for the doctor. And I'm telling him I'm not going to the doctor in the morning, because my mama told me don't do nothing. My mama said don't move until she get here, and I'm not going anywhere until my mama get here. So fast forward to the morning, my mom comes in. And my mom is like, Bran, I'm here. So I get up and I get dressed. Oh, y'all. And I get ready to go to the doctor. Well, when I get to the clinic, my procedure is scheduled. They got me all ready. Woo, woo, woo. And the lady comes and she calls my name. And y'all, we really look like a mob in the hospital, because it was like a lot of us. And my mom tells the nurse, she like, we're just not sure. You all didn't do an ultrasound, and we want an ultrasound. And the nurse is like, I understand, and it's just like that, and sometimes you may feel that you can still feel the baby moving, but we know for sure. And my mom was like, no, you don't know for sure, because without an ultrasound you don't know nothing. And my mom really stood on the nurse. The nurse like got mad. She was like super irritated with my mom. And she was like, well, we're gonna do it, but okay, because the doctors know what they're talking about, blah blah blah, you know what I'm saying. And my mom was like, let's just go. So we get into the ultrasound room, and when I tell you we moved the crowd, because it's a lot of us, like I said, it's his parents, it's my mom, it's my auntie, it's me, it's him, you know what I'm saying. So we all in the ultrasound room, and I lay on the table, and she gets the cold ass gel to put on my stomach, and I lay back, and she proceeds to do the ultrasound. And sure enough, there is my boy, and his heart is beating strong, and he is perfectly fine. So my mom looks at the nurse, and she shoots her a look. Y'all, if looks could kill, the nurse would have fell dead right there in the room. Okay, they would have called the coroner to come on upstairs and get her, because she would have been dead. So yeah, my baby was perfectly fine. And the nurse is like, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this before. I'm just amazed. I just can't believe this. Woo, woo, woo. And I'm so happy. Like, I'm just crying. Just tears are streaming down my face. Tears are streaming down everybody's face, except for my mom. Okay, because she was still mad. So, uh, to make a long story short, my baby was perfectly fine. There was absolutely nothing wrong with him. He was still growing at the proper rate. He was actually growing super duper fast. I ended up having him premature. I had him at 29 weeks. At 29 weeks of gestation, he was 5 pounds, 5 pounds 6 ounces, I believe, already, and he was 18 and a half inches long already. So the doctors told me that there would have been no way that I could have carried him to full term anyway, because he would have been too big. You know, my body, I am very small, not in size, but in stature. Okay, I'm only 5'3", so I got a small frame, I guess. And the doctors told me you just wouldn't have been able to carry him. He would have been too big. And yeah, he is absolutely fine. He is 18 years old today, graduated this year, going to college. He is 6'3" tall, and he is about 260, 70 pounds. Last time I knew. Yeah, work every day, and he is doing absolutely fine. So basically, I say that to say trust God and trust your own instincts. You know what I'm saying? If you feel something ain't right, then it ain't right. You know your body better than anybody else. So yeah. So yeah, everything worked out fine. And y'all have seen my Gabe, my big boy. If you follow me for a while, you've seen my big boy. So yeah. That is about it. That is my story time of the time that they told me that my baby was dead. If you want to hear my horrible birthing story, horrible, terrible, worst ever birthing story, then leave me a comment in the comment section, and I'll definitely get back to you with that. I definitely do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my story. Mwah. Be beautiful, divas.